Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter the Master of Hobbits, today joined by
Frederik den Såkaldte.
Yes, and we're drinking some more English beer, quintessential English classic beer. This time some ESB, or best bitter, or extra special bitter, or as they say themselves, a Kentish strong ale. But on rating sites, this is categorized as an ESB. The strong ale is probably because it's some legislations from the past, because this beer was created in 1958. So it's a really old beer. It's Bishop's Finger. It's 5.2% from Neame, and Neame being one of Britain's oldest breweries, I think, if not the oldest, but also one of the largest. It's huge, massive. And so they talked about, what was it? It's only the brewmaster that can brew this on a Friday? Or something like that.
It's got like a geographical protection.
Yeah.
And one of the things that were like part of that was it was only the brewmaster who would brew it on a Friday.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then it said only pure ingredients, but they do add some glucose syrup to this as well, which could be just to dial in for batch variation in terms of like the ABV. I mean,
I'm guessing that shouldn't be necessary on like huge modern brewery.
No, but it could also just be to cut costs and save
I'm guessing
a dime on malt. Even though I imagine glucose syrup wouldn't be cheaper than malt. Do you think so? Glucose syrup is not cheap in Denmark, at least, but we never looked into buying that in bulk, so maybe we don't know. They probably have some very different contracts with suppliers than most other brewers.
So I can imagine.
This is a beer I don't think I ever reviewed or tried back in the day. The only beer I really tried from these guys was Spitfire, and I enjoyed it, but it was never one of my favorite British kind of classics. Actually, I think this is one of those breweries I never was super excited about, besides Spitfire. I wasn't ever super excited about that either, but I thought it was good. But it was not like the Fullers or Samuel Smith's level, like where I was like, these are the god tier brewers. But this is also one of these national brewers where it's everywhere. Like this is, I think it's in all supermarkets in the UK, and it's probably not an expensive bottle of beer. It's probably like £1.50 or something like that, £2.
Yeah, I remember seeing René, the brewer from Amager Bryghus. He was visiting them to make a collab. I think of Todd the X-Man actually. Maybe 6-8 years ago.
Todd the X-Man with
I think they would bring in like small independent breweries and make a collab, and then they would release it at their pubs all nationwide. But René told me that the brewing systems that they have over there, I don't know if I remember correctly, but I think he said like 240,000 liters of beer they produced per batch.
Yeah, that's probably.
I mean, we made 80,000 liters last year.
Yeah. And I don't even think these are considered a macro brewer.
No, probably not.
They're just a large regional player. I don't know if they're considered a macro brewer. I don't think, I think macro brewers it has to be even bigger. But the thing is, like, there's not really a distinction in Europe for that. Either. It's only in the States. But as they said in the description, this gets flavor from crystal malts. You can see that they use some crystal malts in here because it's got a darker color. It's like this amber mahogany kind of thing.
Yeah, I would almost say like a copper color.
Yeah. And slightly off-white head.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's check out Bishop's Finger. Now that smells quintessentially English.
It does.
It smells like going to it smells like going to the wharf and drinking cask ale to me, like back in the day.
Nutty, caramel.
Very distinct yeast character. That marmalade on toast kind of like something I get. But you can also feel that this is from a large scale brewer. Like it smells English, but it's not like super distinct. Like it's almost a little bit clinical as well.
Yeah,
if you can see what I mean.
True.
And I think that's one of the big classic things for like tight industrial production is that beers are produced in a way so they are very clean, but it also seems a bit clinical. There's part of the soul of the beer is taken out. Yeah. Through filtration and all these things. But it doesn't smell bad. I mean, it's kind of like a similar experience to smelling the honeydew, I think.
Yeah, I should say very quintessentially English.
Yeah. And actually, I also think the Fuller's, although that was not an ESB, was a bit more enticing than this on the aroma. There's a bit more going on, but let's try it. See how it is. Cheers.
Skål.
Skål. Very toasty. Toasty, slightly marmalade-y.
Yeah, but also like a really bland finish.
Yeah. It feels
like it ends super quickly. You're left with sort of like a yeasty, slightly bakery yeast kind of aftertaste, which is not super pleasant.
I want to go in again. This is not really what I remember drinking ESB, being excited about ESB. ESB used to be my favorite beer style. And this feels like this, kind of a little bit like a soulless ESB. Like I remember more intense jammy fruitiness and more intense vibrant maltiness. It's like, it almost seems like this is Jacobsen ESB. Like, or something like that. Like, you can really feel that this is made on a very big scale.
Yeah, how can you... It's like if ESB was a song, it's played on a really bad speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it has the elements of that yeast characteristic.
Yeah, some toasty,
a
little touch of like hitchrowy, nettly hops. Yeah. But it's like...
It's just
minuscule.
Not very fulfilling.
No.
In a lot of ways. You sort of get a whiff of it, and then it's like, then disappears.
I just remember so much. Like, I remember drinking Wells Bombardier when Wells was still independent and Wells and Young's was a thing. And I'm just like, fuck, this is so good. There's so much fruit character and the yeast stands out. Or even also just drinking, like in modern times, revisiting Samuel Smith's. Because those beers are much more in tune with character. Remember drinking the Nut Brown Ale, for example. That's a different beer than this. They also do a best better. But they are just so much more filled with character. This seems a bit more like cheapening product prices because you're on a very large scale. Like, there's something about this that's like, you can taste that this is not a small brewer. It's not off. There's nothing about this that will merit like flunk in it or anything. But there's also nothing that's really standing out about it, making it intriguing. It's just like, it's okay to drink and it's refreshing.
We can talk about Untapped. So, yeah, I'd say maybe 2.5.
Yeah, middle of the road.
Yeah.
2.75 maybe.
If I was like the regular Untapped user, I'd be like 0.5.
Yeah.
But like
0.25.
There's nothing wrong with this beer.
No.
It probably tastes like they intended it to, but it's just bland and mediocre.
I'd love to hear some, like, but maybe it's, I don't know. Is it better on cask?
We should go over and try.
Well, you can sometimes get it on cask at the wharf.
Yeah.
I don't know. The bottled version for me is not anything. This is like scaring me revisiting British beer when I'm having this. I love.
You did have some good experiences too.
Yeah,
a lot of good experiences.
Yeah. But I'd love to get some comments if any of you guys want to get recommendations in for ESBs, bitters,
and also let us know what you think, because this is probably also a beer that has a lot of fans.
I'm sure there's
a lot of young boys like some Bishop's Finger.
But like, this is like, to me, I know a lot of people when they talk shit about craft beer, they talk a lot about Marston's, and like, you might as well drink. Like, when people talk shit about that brewery, it's all like, it doesn't matter if you drink Pedigree or Doom Bar or whatever. It's just like whatever generic British beer. This seems like that. Like when people talk about Marston's, that's my idea, at least from trying this. So I will not completely trash it. I'll still probably give it like a 70-ish or something like that, because I still think it's a drinkable beer and I can definitely finish this bottle. But it's just like, and nothing's wrong with it, and it's fresh, but it's just like, it's a bit soulless. So that's like the biggest, negative. But I was really hoping that I would love this. But that's why I'm hoping that we'll see Fuller's ESB, because I remember that being fucking great.
We gotta drink that.
Unless they change that recipe,
I'd be surprised if they had.
Well, new ownership.
But you always get surprised these days.
Oh, you do. you always lose your heroes.
Yeah.
Cigar City, bye-bye. That's how it is. But if you guys had a chance to try Bishop's Finger by Shepard Neame in recent times, let us know what you thought of it. Is this just the run-of-the-mill pub thing where like this is just a beer that doesn't matter too much? Or is this actually, for example, good on cask? I don't know. Or is it because we drank a bourbon barrel-aged barley wine before this?
Who the fuck knows?
Who the fuck knows? Let us know if you know. As always, leave a comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up. Enjoy it. Ring the bell for future notifications about it. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys in the brewery.